turn my mic on. What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm here with Teslin Figueroa. I'm in Atlanta. I got to turn my own mics on.
What's happening?
I'm spoiled. I'm not used to doing it. Let's get into this Yee tea. So Cassie is asking the court to block Diddy's subpoena. Diddy wants to get a copy of her personal financial records, but also her memoir drafts that she has. You remember she was putting this book out, diaries, journals, notes, any of those things, any communications about plans to publish or threaten to publish such a document. They want to get that information too. Mm-hmm. So Cassie does not want that to happen. She thinks the court should dismiss that entirely. Mm-hmm. Why would he need that? I know you're about to go to law school.
Yeah. Well, shout out to the work that I do with Attorney Benjamin Crump, Black America's Attorney General. But of course, it's important that both sides get all the evidence. You know, I know people don't like it, but any attorney worth anything is going to ask to get everything dismissed, ask that everything be put on the table. I certainly want to know, you know, what they're trying to submit, what evidence, and if it's biased, if it's not, you know, if it's accurate, if it's not. So that's, you know, your typical thing that any attorney would do that makes any sense. I get it.
Okay, and you know, this is all after Diddy's attorney has alleged that Cassie had offered to sell the rights to a book she had written about their relationship for $30 million to prevent its publication. Mm-hmm. That's what the allegation is. We don't know whether or not that's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't know a lot of what's true until we actually see the case. I'm looking forward to the actual trial. You know, there's been so much information in the blogs. What's the evidence? What's not the evidence? What are they really charging him with? Is it the physical altercation that we all saw on the tape, or is it the sex trafficking, the consent, the not consent? So I think the trial starts in May, Angela, and so we'll be able to it's going to be interesting also if we get cameras in the courtroom. So I'm just interested to see how all that plays out.
You know, it's interesting because he is asking for a 2-month delay. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if they're granted that. But he's pleading not guilty to 5 federal counts. That includes racketeering, sex trafficking. So again, that is supposed to start next month. We'll see what happens if this delay is granted. But Diddy's team is also trying to make sure that they don't show that video in the hotel where you can see that he's brutally beating her. He wants that to be excluded from evidence ahead of his trial. And that's because he said that was tampered with. They said it was altered, manipulated, sped up, and edited to be out of sequence. Mm-hmm.
Well, and whether it was sped up or slowed down, like we saw what we saw. But the question really comes to, are they putting him, charging him with his domestic violence or for the racketeering and the prostitution and all of that stuff? So what is the actual charge? And that still, to me, was unclear. Very similar with the O.J. Simpson case that I watch religiously. You know, is it about domestic violence? Was it about domestic violence with O.J. Simpson, which could be a motive to murder? Or is it about the murders? So anytime you have domestic violence that's put in the mix, especially with the tape, automatically people that come sit in the jury say, I've seen it. So they're going to come in with the bias. So how do you get that bias out? How do you actually look at the evidence? And so that's the stuff that we don't know yet. And from what we hear on the blogs and the evidence that we've seen, it's really more about his
the sex trafficking,
so,
the minors,
right, which is totally different than what was going on with Cassie.
Non-consensual,
right? So all of those things, when they all come together, we're gonna have to see how it plays out,
right? And they may be showing these tapes also as part of that. And Diddy's side feels like the tapes will be helpful. But the prosecutors feel, we don't know what's on the tape.
You're talking about on the tapes, the sex tapes.
Yeah, because on Diddy's behalf, they feel like, well, this is going to show consensual sex between adults. It may be a quote-unquote freak-off, but everybody was actively okay with it. But I think the prosecutors are looking at it as like, you'll see that people were not willing participants. We don't know until
we don't know. Yeah. And then somebody could always say, well, I was on the tape, but I still felt forced to. I didn't have a choice. And that's where it's
harder to prove that.
Yeah, that's where stuff kind of gets real muddy. So we'll see. I know they got a lot of tapes. That we know. A lot of tapes and a lot of baby oils.
We're going to see. All right. Well, that is your Yee tea. And thank you for that breakdown, Teslin. That's why we love having you here. And when we come back, we have our Under the Radar stories. These are the stories that are not necessarily in the headlines. They're flying under the radar, but you need to know about them. Do you have a Birkin bag?
I do not. Girl, I wish I would. I don't have no bags.
Okay.
Ross dressed for less for me. Shout out to Ross.
Well, we are going to talk about what's happening and what Hermes is saying they're planning to do because of these tariffs.
Yeah, they say they're giving it away. Maybe this will be my chance to finally get a bag.
Ooh, it's not looking that way. We'll talk about it. Mine either. It's Way Up.